Hello, Grave here. Uh, well, Pokemon Legends ZA had its trailer 3 days ago now. I guess I'll go over, like, I'll throw my 2 cents out on the internet. Uh, one trailer, well, one full trailer. We still don't know a ton necessarily about it. They're obviously they're going to keep a lot of secrets, sort of hush hush until the release day. I fully expect a lot more to. I expect maybe 1 or 2 more trailers before the game actually comes out, and at least one being when we get the actual launch date. We just have the generic 2025. Same with Time Stranger. Uh, like we have the general 2025 launch date. Very likely fall. Like Pokemon, I think notoriously drops in somewhere around November-ish, October, November, around that time. And why? Because it's a great time to drop something if you want to sell it for Christmas. That's it. It's a great thing. It's a great way to get sales or a big sale bump in Christmas. That's we can assume it'll drop around then. Uh, I'll just cut that. As a whole, I think that we are seeing a bit of Legends. I had at first I had hoped would be more of a sort of a mythical follow, like Pokemon Legends Arceus, Pokemon Legends ZA. We didn't have any context as to what the Legends theme would be, if there would be a theme. And let's be everyone, I'm assuming myself really included, would generally assumed it'd probably be more about the legends and myths of the region. ZA, I would have hoped that we'd get something in the distant past for ZA. But let's be honest, given the first sort of teaser they gave, it was a little clear it'd be more of a futuristic one. But at the same time, given their like for time travel lately, we might expect a little time travel. Who knows? I doubt it. uh, with it being restricted specifically to Lumio City, I don't have a problem with that. If they handle it right, in like a vein of in a similar vein to Yakuza, and actually pack a ton of content into a rather large city, that would make up for a lot of it. Like Paris is well known for its underground. Oh, it's underground and its catacombs. It's just sort of the fact of its location and its history with Britain. It is an area with a lot of rather interesting history that you could really go into. I had kind of hoped we'd see more of the ancient past, but I mean, I probably wasn't going to pick it up to begin with. Kalos is not my favorite region. It's just it was always at launch. X and Y were and still are just a very half-baked region with very little to do. It's also widely hated for being the start of the Battle Frontier being cut. But it is a fan favorite for Mega Evolution, and that's really it. They later on they make a big sticking point of a Mega Evolution. Yay, it's back! But at the same time, this is generally a Legends. I think more the theme more here is experimentation. Legends are games that they want to just play around with and experiment with as a sort of a stopgap between big major releases. So I think what we can kind of expect at this point going forward is maybe Legends, then maybe Generation DLC, Legends, Generation, and remakes thrown somewhere in there. It's kind of just an issue of for Game Freak and Pokemon as a whole, it's just an issue of their release cadence, where They need the game out so that they can get the anime out, so they can get the trading cards out. Everything is kind of tied to the hip with the video game. That's kind of an issue for them. Digimon doesn't have. Well, they have a very different issue. Digimon kind of just does whatever, throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping something sticks, or even just does random things every game. Digimon World 1, 2, and 3 were all very different games. I didn't play any of them, but they were very different. Digimon World DS, Dawn and Dusk were kind of trying to mimic Pokemon with the Dawn and Dusk one, but at the same time, also try to be a bit more narrative. But it just Digimon games have always been all over the place. Uh, Cyber Sleuth, great gameplay. Well, great for gameplay. Uh, Survive, great for narrative, and Digimon has the opposite issue of Pokemon. Pokemon has a fan base that grew up with it and wants it to kind of be a little more in depth and interesting, whereas Digimon said we're not going to focus too heavily on the new getting a new audience, which is kind of a problem there. They kind of just want to keep going with the old one. It's kind of an issue on both sides. Time Stranger, I think, is just the more interesting one. As it is, well, beyond the fact that it is quite literally just the Digital World Iliad, it is a different thing, and also just focusing on the digital world and the aspects with Aegiamon and myths, and actually having a lot more exploration. I think ZA will do fine. It'll do quite well. I think it'll sell quite well. I think generally it and the new. I should have actually opened up the other trailer. Yeah, here we go. Champions. I think this is the one where they were. It's the. Yeah, this is the battle simulator. This, if done well, this could be a good thing to get more people into the competitive game. Do we actually have more gameplay in here? I've never actually watched this trailer. Okay, so I don't think there's any actual gameplay. Well, got like a bit of pseudo gameplay there. Whatever, not important. If they separate the competitive game mode from Digimon, well, from the Pokemon games as a whole, that could be a very interesting thing, because that would give them more freedom to, again, do something different in each Pokemon game, while also keeping like different rule sets and different things that are popular with the player base in Champions. I think I'm just going to be outright honest. I think that this battle system is a little bit of an issue with the Pokemon following you and you not having control of the Pokemon. This is a very experimental looking battle system. I'm just going to be outright there saying it. It's very experimental looking. I wouldn't be surprised if they either scrap this or redo it as a whole later on. At the same time, it could be sort of like a theme where, with Arceus, they were trying to do more of a. They're trying to dig more into the myths around the Japanese-style Pokemon regions, and do the strong and swift style, with the whole romanticization of how combat was. Well, the romanticization of a lot of combat styles back then. That and the fact that a lot of things are popular in different ways. I think this is kind of just them making it little attempts at the Pal World sort of combat style, like The fact that the Pokemon follows you, I think, is an issue. I'd rather it'd be a much better uh, combat system if you specifically controlled the Pokemon. I don't know if that's specifically because of how they designed it, so that because the Pokemon will follow the player in the overworld. I wonder if that's an issue of they cannot transfer it specifically to the Pokemon like they did with what was that feature in they added in the Blueberry Academy DLC. What I don't remember the name of it. Synchronization, something where you would take control of the Pokemon. I think that was an interesting mechanic, and I'm surprised that they like it was an experimental thing, but I'm surprised they didn't include and really use it here for the combat system. Uh, it strikes me as odd, a very odd choice, specifically because it would it'd work real well here with how they're doing a sort of Pal World-ish. What was that? What was that Pokemon? What was it? Uh, that one Pokemon game. The hero fighter style one, whatever. I don't remember the name. Uh, but I think controlling the Pokemon Hero would have been a lot better. But I don't. I am genuinely curious what the technical restrictions are or technical reasoning is. Did they think it'd be better camera angle wise? I don't quite see that. Maybe they thought it'd be too difficult for certain people. I don't know. But we're like we see events. We see moments here. We see where's another point where they show like you've got rooftop moments. You've got I don't quite. I know they've got a point here where. Alright, whatever. Um, the fact that they're making it a very traversable city is very bodes, I think, well to it being an actually feature dense map as opposed to the tedious nonsense that you had in the Scarlet and Violet and a little bit in Legends Arceus. Legends, I think, Arceus, I think, was a bit more like a Monster Hunter-ish style with the hub system. I'm curious how things will be here. I really want to see AZ's role in all of this. If he's just going to be your humble hotel manager, or if he'll actually be like a more of a figure here as a guidance or I guess a font of knowledge and tales of the world of the region, as the man's walked the entire region for 3,000 years. At least we don't know if he left the region at all, but I guess foolish part. It was a bit foolish on my part, thinking we'd actually see the region as it was back then. I'd have liked it, but whatever. I hope AZ plays a rather sizable role, at least narratively, because if him and Zygarde do take the role as the sort of narrator, that would be rather. I think that'd be a decent, not good, but a decent replacement for an ancient period. But like as I said before, there's with the fact that they based it off of Paris and the rich history of within just France, I think it could be a very well like, if they handle it well, right. It could do very well. I don't know. I guess let's start a chat somewhere, or well, I'd like to start a conversation. That's a big reason why I throw some of these things out here. Well, out there, it's I want to start a conversation, see what people think. Big things for me would be if they ever If they do like a Legends Hoenn or a Legends Unova, I'd be really interested in those. Hoenn bias because I started playing with Pokemon Sapphire, but Unova because I want the map redesigned. The map is the map layout is terrible, but the game as a whole, I think, is the best that they've done so far. I don't like the open world style because it just doesn't fit right with a journey. I also don't quite care about being able to challenge gyms in any order you want because they don't go. Scarlet and Violet shows that they don't really care to put in the little effort to adjust each gym, as we know that lore-wise in the anime it kind of operates that way, where they tailor their teams to the number of badges. They don't intend to do that. I don't have any, and if they don't intend to do that, I don't think they should continue doing an open world style. Hot take, I know, but I'd rather see a really well designed, well built region that is linear than a world designed to be open world for the sake of being open world. I'd rather a Black and White and Black and White 2 than a Sword and Shield or a Scarlet and Violet. I'd rather we get more content and genuinely more of an interesting world than something that is open world because people like open world for the sake of it trending. It, I don't know. If you uh, go ahead and flame me in the comments for that. I don't know. It's kind of just it's my opinion. I'll throw it out there. I'd rather it be linear and good than open world and mediocre. Well, that's my 2 cents out there. If anyone wants to start something, conversation in the comments or somewhere, go ahead. Grave out.